I'd party every single day. I'd barely sleep. I'd go out to get drunk, go out with friends, like sleep maybe 3 hours and then do it all over again. Um, and yeah, it kind of just left me with my bank account was drained, my health was drained. I just felt awful, but I was like kind of addicted to it. I loved that sort of lifestyle. And then obviously lockdown it in 2020 in the UK. So obviously I couldn't go out or anything. I was dirt broke. I had like negative $1,900 in my bank account. I was like, right, I need to make some money.
Aaron, glad you could join us. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
So I started Twitter April last year, 2020. Before that, I was well, I'm still in university doing computer science, nothing special. I've been doing like computer studies like basically all my life up until last year, and then the pandemic hit, and then I just joined Twitter, and I was like, I need to make some money because I was just dirt broke. I need to make some money. So I started with ebooks, and then I saw a web design course, so I bought that, and then it kind of just went from there. So I was just fed up with the whole university thing. I never wanted like a normal job, like a 9 to 5. It just, getting orders from someone else, just no, it's not something I want to do. So yeah, I bought a web design course, and now I have a web design agency, and I run that full time.
Cool, cool. And so your Twitter account is from 2015, but you basically, you let it rest and just recently you started tweeting.
Yeah, it was my old YouTube gaming account, Twitter. So
Ah,
I'd upload videos to YouTube, and then I'd use the Twitter account just to like post it. Nobody ever like engaged with any of my stuff anyway. I had like 150 followers or something like that. But yeah, it was my old um first like when I first created it was just like a personal account for like friends and family and stuff. And then I think a year after I made it into the YouTube gaming one, and then it kind of just sat and collected dust for a few years, and I really touched it or anything. Um, and then one day I saw someone who I was following retweeted, I think it was Hustle and Conquer, about ebooks online and how you can make money with ebooks. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I followed him, and I saved the like bookmarked the tweet. And then obviously a bunch of other people like recommended follows came up, so I followed them. And it kind of just collected dust for like a while. And then in 2020 April, I was like, yeah, I need some money, and I remember the ebook thing, so I just unfollowed everyone, and then went through like all the money tweets and all the ebook tweets, and then I kind of started from there.
that's cool. That's cool. And I think one of the most memorable things you tweeted was, about how your life was going and how it's doing now. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I've always been introverted. Like, I know it seems surprising, but I've always been really introverted. Up until 2018, I went on a cruise with my parents, and I met some people on there. And they say, "Oh, do you want to get some drinks with us?" So I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And bear in mind, I barely ever drank before that. I had like a beer or two before, but I wasn't social at all. So I ended up getting like tequila shots, whiskey, everything, mixing drinks and everything. And I remember I went to the bathroom, and I was just like, I feel amazing. And it kind of just all sprouted from there. But yeah, for like the next 2 weeks, then I just got drunk every single day, and I loved it. And then when I came back off that cruise, I was just about to go into university, and like the party and life of university then kind of just mixed with the cruise drinking, and I went downhill like really fast. But then for the next 2 years, then in university, I party every single day. I'd barely sleep. I'd go out to get drunk, go out with friends, like sleep maybe 3 hours and then do it all over again. Um, and yeah, it kind of just left me with my bank account was drained, my health was drained. I just felt awful, but I was like kind of addicted to it. I loved that sort of lifestyle. And then obviously lockdown it in 2020 in the UK. So obviously I couldn't go out or anything. I was dirt broke. I had like negative $1,900 in my bank account. I was like, right, I need to make some money. and then that's when I joined Twitter and started looking at ebooks and stuff.
Wow. Wow. So COVID actually improved your health.
Yeah, like I say to everyone, like if it wasn't for lockdown and COVID, then I wouldn't be on Twitter. I'd probably, well, who knows where I'd be.
Still in the ditch. Oh, that's funny. Cool. So COVID happened, lockdown happened, and then you decided, hey, well, I can't party right now. I have no money in my bank account. It's time to make some money. And then, how many followers did you have back then?
So when I started in April, I think it was like 170, 150, 170, something like that. And I DM'd someone. I can't remember who I DM'd.
What, as in 150, as in
Yeah, yeah,
150
100,
followers.
yeah, really low. And it wasn't even like, fans from like my YouTube thing. It was mostly like friends and family. But I DM'd someone, and I just said, I want to do what you're doing. I want to make some money and I want to grow my following and then just see where it goes. So he said, yeah, you can do this and this, like comment on some people's stuff, post some tweets, get some followers, and then you can look at making money. So I did that. I changed my entire like account to a picture of me, the banner, the bio, everything. I changed the name, and then I unfollowed everyone who I was following, and I started just following like the money accounts, like money Twitter accounts, whatever. Yeah, and it went from there. I started like growing. I started commenting on some people's stuff, and then my followers started going. I think the first month I gained like 20 followers. It was a really struggle, but
Oh, well,
yeah,
good start.
it kind of just spiraled from there, and I started getting followers, and I started like I think I affiliated for I bought somebody's growth course, and I affiliated for them, and I made like $50 or something like that. But obviously the Gumroad just takes so long to like verify you, so I didn't get paid. So I was like, I need money like now. And then I came across Dan Coe's web design course, and then I spent I think it was my last $22 on it. So my last $22 on it, I had like
Literally.
literally I had no money then. If I spent any money, I'd be bank would be coming after me. But I spent it on that. I went through like religiously, like every single day. Um, and then I think it was like 2, 3 weeks later, someone I tweeted some stuff about like web design and landing page and stuff, and then 2, 3 weeks later, someone DM'd me and they were like, I need a landing page. I see you tweet about web design a lot. I need one. Can you make me one? And I was like, yes.
You're like, yes.
And the first landing page I closed like $200, and I was like, oh my god. But yeah, and it just kind of went from there.
That's cool. Well, I guess a lot of people buy courses. They might read 10%, some might actually read everything, and a tiny percentage actually brings stuff into practice. And you were the last. You did that last part as well. Why? Because you could have just gone back to beers and partying and whatever.
I think when I joined Twitter, I was reading the tweets and the whole, it was a completely different like mindset from mine. Like I just loved going out drinking. Any money I'd get, I'd spend it on booze or partying or whatever. Come home and then do it the next day. But then it was kind of I saw tweets about like 9 to 5s and people doing things that they don't want to do, and how kind of like there's so many people with unfulfilled potential just going around and wasting their time or whatever. So I kind of started reading on that, and I think my mind kind of changed, and I kind of entered like the hustle mode sort of thing, because I never really wanted that 9 to 5 job. Like I literally, when I got into university, in high school I googled the highest paying computer science jobs, and it was like a security job or something. So I literally just took computer science in university just for that reason. But yeah, I never wanted that job. I just kind of did it for the money. But
Did you do it for the money or did you do it for your parents? It's funny because Steven, who does customer support for customer success for iFear, just tweeted a meme: back to school to prove that I'm not a fool." It's just funny
yeah,
because
honestly,
yeah,
it's like I went,
everyone should.
I went to university, and like I didn't really know any other path. Like it was just kind of the birth, school, work sort of thing. Um, like I liked business. Like I remember I watched The Pursuit of Happiness, And then I read about like Chris Gardner's story, and he went from that job to making his own business or whatever. And that inspired me a lot. But I never really like pursued anything. But yeah, my parents were kind of like, oh, you go to university, you get a good job, and then the typical sort of thing. Well, I can't really blame them
Yeah,
because they don't know any better. But
yeah,
yeah, it was
yeah,
like
that's funny.
mainly to impress. I thought, I got a degree, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my dad actually said, literally said, when I quit my job, he said, "You're out of your mind." When I went freelance, I thought I'm gonna just start my own business and screw this 9 to 5 stuff. And he literally said, "You're out of your mind." It's just really like, yeah, it's a cultural thing, and as in timing wise, I think our parents of the generation before us, they were just used to working at the same place for 30 years and then retiring, and just that's just not how youth is going about it these days.
I remember I wanted to. I was in university. I think it was. Oh, it was last year sometime. I made my first like 10K online, and I was like, I can do this. Full time. I don't have to get a job anymore. I mentioned to my parents and like some close friends, like, oh, I might drop out of university because there's no point. I don't want the degree. I don't like my course, and there's literally no point. And I got ridiculed for it. And they were like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're gonna throw your life away?" Like, I'm not. But yeah, I got pure ridiculed for just mentioning dropping out because it's in like the course.
Yeah, 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 funny. And so you started with 150 followers. You got 20 followers in your first month, and I guess a lot of people know you from your cheeky comments or your interesting comments. How did you? Yeah, did you grow into that, or is that just Aaron, or
Yeah,
how
it's
does it work?
it's kind of just like my British sort of sense of humor. Like I've got really dry humor, and I'm really sarcastic. So yeah, I just yeah, it's not that's the best thing about like my replies is I don't really have to force it. I can literally just make it up and then tweet it, and it'll just do its thing. But yeah, I've kind of always been really sarcastic and dry humored sort of thing. So yeah, a lot of people I've had people say like, oh, why are you forcing your persona sort of thing. But it's just the way I am, the way I've always been, sort of thing. I think the drink influenced it a lot. When you're drunk and you just don't care. Yeah, but I think the sort of that persona is kind of carried over into my sober life.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just my personality.
cool, cool. And so, 20 followers the first month. What did you do that where you saw the most traction? What got you the most followers?
I tweeted a thread, and it was about like marketing or something, and I remember Wiz Recom retweeted it, and then a bunch of other people retweeting it. It kind of just popped off from there. Like I started gaining, like I was in the typical like engagement groups. Um, yeah, I was DMing people like, whatever, can you do this, wherever we all engage with this tweet and this tweet or whatever. Um, so I was kind of, it was going steady, and I was engaging like every day. I'd make sure I'd show up and comment on a bunch of people's stuff, and I made sure I tweeted or whatever. And, it was going steady. And then that thread that Wiz retweeted, where I gained like 400 in that day, and I was just like, what the hell? But yeah, and it was kind of like shout out lists and stuff. I remember this big account put together like this massive list of other big accounts, like, oh, you should follow this, and they put me on there, and I was like, why? But obviously they all retweeted it and stuff, and it kind of just like popped off from there. So it wasn't like one day it just like popped off and then exploded. It was kind of just like a combination of all these like little things, like the retweeted threads, the shout out list,
Mm,
and like the odd tweet popping off or sort of thing. But yeah, I think as I grew bigger and bigger, it became much more easy to like gain followers, like 200-300 follower days. Um, but
yeah,
yeah, I think you just gotta stick with it. And then one day you maybe have tweets that won't pop off and they get like 1 or 2 likes, and then all of a sudden it'll blow up and you'll just get like 1,000 likes or whatever and a bunch of new followers.
yeah, yeah. And I guess sliding in the DMs was one of the main points that I guess got your name out there and got you on those lists, got you retweeted, probably. What do you think?
Yeah, I DM'd like a lot of people. Like I wanted to help. Well, I just kind of it was like 50% like I want help with this, and 50% I kind of want I want to make myself known. I remember I DM'd like a bunch of big accounts. Like I remember Chris Johnson. I DM'd him. Um, and we had like a tiny like the smallest conversation ever. But then he followed me. Um, and then I remember he actually retweeted one of my tweets, and that blew up. Um, I remember Hustle and Conquer, Dan. Just like like the OG sort of thing of money Twitter. I kind of want to make myself known to them. I remember I first DM'd Dan. I was like, I want, your course is sick. Can I affiliate for it? And then we kind of started talking about that. And now me and Dan talk like a lot. Basically like friends. That sounds a bit sad, but basically like every now and then. But yeah, I think the DMs was a good way to get out there and make myself known. Because then, when I comment on different things, I'd be like, oh, look, that's Aaron guy again. I'll follow him or I'll retweet him or sort of thing. So yeah, I definitely think, I think it'd be quite impossible to grow if you're just constantly tweeting and not talking to anyone sort of thing. But yeah, DMs was like a fundamental part of my growth.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. Cool. And so you bought Dan's course. Uh, How did you become like a designer from somebody who could probably not even use, I don't know, paint to somebody who could design landing pages and stuff like that? How do you do that?
So like from a young age, I always liked like aesthetics and stuff, like simple aesthetics and like sort of art, I guess. I was really interested in. It's gonna sound weird, but I was really interested in like typography. Like I loved like different fonts and stuff, and I'd always be like, oh, that's a nice font. Um, and then in school, yeah, we learned how to use like paint and stuff. And I kind of just like I've got OCD as well, so it needs to be like perfect, like pixel for pixel perfect whenever I like did things. Um, and then in when was it? I think it was 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. I bought my first laptop, and then I found Photoshop, and I found like GIMP and things like that, and I started messing around, and then I started like uploading videos to YouTube, like tutorials for graphics and stuff, simple things or whatever. But I kind of just spiraled from there. So I'd literally spend all my days. I'd never go out with like friends or play football or anything. My days would literally consist of like playing Xbox and just using Photoshop, messing around.
Sitting in your room. Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of went from that, and then I designed my own YouTube banner, and I was like, yeah, that was quite easy. I could do that, and so I went on Fiverr, and I started selling gigs for like logos and graphics, the typical startup sort of thing. And yeah, it kind of just spiraled from there, and I started obviously I had to edit my own YouTube videos. And I really enjoyed like the process of it, like putting in graphics and like typing whatever. Um, and I think the graphics design sort of side of things carried over into like the web design sort of things. Like I liked, I knew how to design well and like professionally, like aesthetically pleasing stuff. And I
Yeah.
think I just needed to know. I think that's why the web design sort of took me, because it was like basically, it's graphics design but for websites sort of thing. So yeah, it was a big graphic design had a big influence on the web design career.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet. How much money did you make on Fiverr?
Like $15. It was this crappy logo. Basically, I made a bunch of like small tiny logos and used that as my portfolio. And I just slapped a picture. I put them all on like a grid and slapped it on Fiverr. So I'll make you a logo, whatever. And this guy um bought it was like a month after, and I was like, yeah, yeah, whatever. And he paid like $15 to $20, and that was literally it. I never went on Fiverr again.
Funny, funny, funny. Yeah, probably for people who are just getting started or are, I don't know, in a country where wages are very low. It's probably a pretty nice way to make your living. But I think if you live in Europe or in the States, then if you do like basic web design, it's just a big Red Sea.
Yeah, it's Fiverr's hard. Like I tried Fiverr, Upwork. I think the other one was, I can't remember another one, but they're so hard. Like I saw like a bunch of people on like YouTube saying, oh yeah, you can make like $1,000 a week with Fiverr, $1,000 a day with Fiverr. It's like, whatever, I might as well try it. And it's hard, like unless you put yourself out there all the time, like constant on Fiverr, it's hard to get your first client.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, you're competing against people who are probably already have 100 reviews
Yeah,
and
yeah.
an entire list of
Like their
previous
portfolios compared
gigs.
to mine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's hard.
And can you actually advertise on Fiverr as a creator?
I think
Or
so.
it's
I think
just
I think you can pay. I know they have like top creators of the week or whatever, and if you're lucky, you get like featured on that. I think you may be able to pay like a subscription sort of thing, and then you get advertised, or if you want to like advertise yourself, you pay like to advertise that gig. Um, I never really took it that serious. Like I just used it. Like if I failed a day, it wouldn't really make a difference to me. It was just like a sort of side hustle to make some money.
yeah, yeah. I want to dig a little bit more on your Twitter thing because after a little bit over a year, you have like how was it? 60,000 followers, 50,000 followers,
Yeah, 60. I
something
think 61.
61, huh? So that's quite the growth. Yeah, 61,000. That's quite the growth. And so a couple of things stand out when I look at your account. You have insane engagement, even with 60,000. There are other people with accounts that are quite big, but they don't have engagement quite like yours. So one that has to do with the quality of your tweets, but I think there's also another side is that you know I see a lot of recurring names on your timeline which you're retweeting. Would you like to tell us a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, so basically in I think it's February, my account just like stopped. It went to a standstill. I was stuck at like 27K, and I did everything. I rebranded or whatever, and I changed up my tweets. I literally deleted all my tweets, and then I started posting new ones or whatever, and literally nothing worked. I have no idea why that happened, but yeah, nothing like worked or whatever. I literally couldn't get off 27K. Like I was going from 300 followers a day to literally like 10. I was like, what? So
Wow.
I DM'd some people and I said, how are you growing at that speed? Like they were growing like faster than me. I said, oh yeah, we just retweet each other. I was like, oh, it's that simple. So I said, oh, would you be interested in doing it with me? And they said, yeah, whatever. So we started doing it, and then I kind of stopped, and then I started again, sort of thing. And yeah, it picked back up. Um, but yeah, that was a like a good method, I guess, to grow.
Yeah.
So like one for one, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started doing that. Now I still do it to this day, or whatever. I did stop a little bit, and I carried on. Um, but yeah, it's just like it's not even like a group or anything. You just like retweet, like go on the timeline, retweet whatever, and they retweet mine, sort of thing. Um, but yeah, engagement wise, I have absolutely no idea how I get that engagement rate. Like, people ask me all the time, like, how are you getting 1,000 likes on like every tweet? And I genuinely don't know. I don't do anything special. I just like tweet, and then I guess I was on that Spaces last night, and I was kind of saying that on Twitter you'll see the same thing so many times. It's just in different ways or whatever. But if you tweeted something and someone else tweeted something, then even if it's the exact same tweet, then someone's going to get way more likes than the other person just because of who they are. I think maybe it's just my personality sort of thing. People liking a tweet not because they actually like the tweet, but just because I'm tweeting it. Or maybe the tweets do resonate. I try to make them like polarizing and relatable as much as I can. Like I
Yeah.
tweeted, I think it was yesterday, like a blueprint to be like superhuman or whatever, and it was like no alcohol, no sugar, heavy lifting, and I put 9 hours sleep. And so many people were ridiculing me for the 9 hours because nobody sleeps 9 hours, but I did it just because I know people would just go and attack the 9 hours thing opposed to like a 7 or 8. So yeah, I tried to be polarizing in most of my tweets. You just need that one angry person to quote retweet you, and then all their friends will just jump on it, and then he'll just explode. But yeah, I just try to be as relatable and polarizing as I can, and it just works.
How much time do you spend per day to craft your tweets?
Not even that much. Like sometimes I'll just have like thoughts pop into my head. I'll be like, when I'm working or something, I'll just have a thought. I'll be like, oh, that's sick. And then sometimes I'll be scrolling the timeline and someone will tweet something, and I'll just kind of like form my own opinion on it, throw it in Hyperion, and then that's it. Um, and then other times I'll struggle for tweets, so I won't tweet anything. But I deleted literally all my tweets in February. Down on my archive, deleted all my tweets. So I go back into my archive every now and then, find like the top tweets, and then just throw them back out. I've been
Yeah.
doing that for like 4 months, 3, 4, 5 months, something like that. Um, I think I tweeted like 60,000 tweets in the archive, whatever. So I'm now going to run out for a
Wow.
while. But yeah, sometimes they're off the top, sometimes they're from the archive, and sometimes they're just random thoughts.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. And so, um, I know you also have a newsletter.
Yes.
Um, can you care to like share some numbers on how many signups you get per day?
I didn't put much effort into it. I've literally, threw the autoresponders together, threw the list together, and then just made the landing page, just threw the link there. I don't even promote it. Um, I'd say around 50 to 100 a day or something like that on a good day. Um, but yeah, I never noticed. It's just literally sat in my bio doing
Wow.
nothing. But yeah,
Yeah.
it collects me in the autoresponders. So yeah, it's not
You
bad.
could you could probably, well, I don't know, 10x, but maybe 5x that, I think,
Yeah,
if
I
you
know, right? I remember
if you
your
plug
DM.
your list more.
I remember
Yeah.
your DM. I'm literally in the middle of rejigging my whole autoresponder thing because the last time I did it, or it was like last year when I had like 1,000 followers. Um, and the first email we gave was like how I grew to 5,000 followers, and it's so outdated. So I'm in the middle of rejigging my whole autoresponders, maybe my offer as well, maybe like a tripwire sort of thing, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
promote it way way more because I think I can I can do good numbers if I promote it much more sort of thing.
Yeah. So, and when people subscribe to your newsletter, what do they get?
It's basically a sort of 7 day course on how I grew, how I engaged, how I made money sort of thing. Like even though it's outdated, it's still I still use the methods, and the info is still like up to date, and you can still do it or whatever and follow it. But yeah, it's basically like the first email is like a welcome, second one's like how I made money or how I grew or something, and then how you can engage and up your engagement rates, how you can like make money if you're making an ebook or whatever. Um, and then the last two are like offers to I think it's my course and I think it might be Dan's course. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna revamp that entire thing and make it much more to date and much more like information packed just because I don't want to, everything on my profile is like up to date, like landing pages, whatever links. And I want my autoresponders, my email list to be on brand sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's always leaking at the plumber's home, right? That's a little bit of a saying, I guess. I don't know how you translate that to English, but here it's like it's always leaking at the plumber's house where he lives. Yeah, that's interesting. And so, um, you're it's like a free course on how to grow, and then you end with some affiliate deals to Dan and to your own course.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
nothing special, it does the job, but I definitely need to redo it because I think it's really out of date. And there's like the old screenshots of when I had like, I think one of the make money tweets is like, oh, how I made like $200 this week or whatever, and it's so outdated. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm in the process of making it better.
And why did you decide to create a newsletter?
I think it was I saw I think it was Hustle and Conquer, one about emails or whatever. Like all he talks about ebooks and emails and stuff and making money. So I was like, I'll make one. Um, Set up. It's kind of just um another way to collect income sort of thing on passively. I barely ever like I need to really like focus on my email list because I barely ever send like newsletters or anything. Um, but I'm so busy with like client work and Twitter and stuff like I can't put that much effort into it. But yeah, I made it just for like, if Twitter ever goes, south, then I've got the email list, and it's just another way to communicate with like my followers and stuff, and then another passive income source. So yeah, it's nothing, I don't put much focus into it as I should, but yeah, it kind of just sits there. It does okay.
Hmm, cool. And so one of your first gigs via Twitter was a $200 landing page. What are you doing now?
So I started with web design. I started with landing pages, really cheap, like website. I was charging like 250 for a website, and I was, people were like, "What are you doing?" So I moved then from landing pages to websites, and then the websites were taking like such a long time to turn around, and because I was charging so little, I was like, I can do better than this. So I've moved like 2 3 months ago from web design into funnel design. I'm doing funnels slash like landing pages sort of things now.
Yep.
I still do websites. If someone says, I need a website, I still do it, but I don't really offer it that much. But yeah, I'm focusing primarily on now funnels and landing pages, more like the design sort of thing, opposed to like copy and the actual like upsell, downsell sort of thing.
Cool. And you get all your leads from Twitter?
Yeah, I'd say 80% Twitter, 20% cold email. Like I used to like struggle for clients, and then I bought cold email mastery, and then started doing that. I got a few clients from that, and then I started posting some designs on Twitter. And then people see the designs, be like, that was cool. Can you make me one? So, and yeah, that's kind of, and then I give clients commission if they refer me to anyone else. So yeah, it's kind of like, it took a while, but it's kind of on autopilot. I barely ever have to like reach out. Um, I'd say like out of the 100% of people or clients I get on Twitter, I'd say 60% come to me. And then if I have to, I'll just be like, I make funnels. Do you want one?
Funny. And so they pay a one-time fee, or they pay a recurring fee. How does your business model work?
So it's one time for the actual funnel, and then it depends. Like, if you do it like 100,000 a month or something, like, big numbers a month, then I'll take about 30% of whatever sales you make through the funnel. And if it's like a smaller business, like a coaching one, they only get like what, like 5 clients a month, I'll take like 10, 20%. So yeah, it's a one time around 5K one time, and then 20, 30, or 10 to 30% of whatever they make every month through the funnel. And yeah, that's the entire model.
Cool. Cool. And then do you set up ads for them, or how does it work?
I'm I'm in the middle of like looking at that. I barely like looked. I've done like one Facebook ad before, just for like, and it was like a web design thing. I got a few responses, but nothing too special. I want to eventually run ads. Like I'm in a few groups on like Facebook, wherever, for Facebook ads mixed with funnels. So I want to get into it eventually. I was talking to someone the other day, um, asking if I could build a whole funnel completely free and just run Facebook ads just to test and like experiment with it. So I'm going to be doing that soon. But yeah, right now it's just a funnel design. I do eventually want to get into Facebook ads, so I can make a good amount of money from it.
Cool. And so, can you give an example of how you would build a funnel? Maybe from a client in the past. How would you create that?
So I'm literally in the middle of making one now. Like I've literally got the sketch and everything. But if someone says to me like, I got a client yesterday, and they said, I need one. I saw they had posted that picture of Ty's landing page, and they said, I like ties. Can you make me one? I said, yes. And what do you need? So I kind of ask, obviously, what their whole business is about. So, like example, like lead gen. Um, so I kind of, like the final call to action will be like maybe Calendly link or something, or like a sign up thing. And then I kind of Google like landing page designs, just to sort of get like a feel for the aesthetic and like the layout or whatever, and then I'll make a sketch. And then I use Sketch, like the app Sketch, to kind of do a mock-up of the design, so like how it would look as a final sort of thing. And then once I like it, I'll send it over to clients, see if they like it. If they like it, I'll build it all out. I'll build the final thing. It depends if it's like a really simple sort of thing, I'll use card. But if it's like a more complex, I'll use ClickFunnels. Um, Finalize the design, send it over. If they like it, do the copy, and then it's all theirs. It's up to them what they do with it. But yeah, so it's kind of like it goes from them telling me what they need, sketching it on pen and paper, and then the sketch I have to make like a small mock-up, send it over. If they like it, build the entire thing, send that back over. If they like that, and then just throw the copy in, and then that's it.
And what are like the key features on your landing pages that that work well, convert well?
I like the more simple aesthetic sort of things. I don't like to throw a ton of stuff in there. Like the Thai landing page I did, it had like I think maximum 100 words in it. I did one for JK for the Molina letter, which is like this subscription one. And he said it doubled conversion. So I kind of advertise the offer as I'll double your conversion rate. But yeah, the features basically I make it stand out. So I make all the points clear and all the offer clear, whilst using like as little copy as possible, sort of thing. But yeah, I'd focus more on like the design sort of aspect.
And when you look at the Molina letter, the before and after, what was different of your version? What was
Well, JK didn't even have a funnel or like a landing page for the Molina letter. So I did it completely free for him because I wanted the testimonial. And I built it out, sent it over to him. He's like sick, and then he said a few days later, like, we've already sold double what we normally sell. I'm like, sick. That's perfect testimonial. But yeah, I think the offer is sort of I'll double your conversion rates with aesthetically pleasing sort of funnel instead of a more, I'll convince them to buy this now straight away. Yeah, so I kind of offer it differently to what the funnel designers I've seen. But yeah, it works.
cool. And so, what are your plans for like the coming year?
I wanna focus now, obviously on Twitter and on the funnels. I'm gonna do that for a while, and then the end sort of goal is to take myself out of it while it's still running, and then I can just go and chill, travel, do whatever, whilst that's running in the background. But as of now, and maybe the next like 3 to 5 years, I still want to focus on building clientele, charging like way more. Like I think I want to get up to like 20K per funnel sort of thing. For way bigger like companies or individuals. But yeah, I don't have any plans to like stop or chill anytime soon. I don't want to splash out in like fancy cars or anything yet. I want to make sure that everything is working, take myself out, and then go and enjoy.
And what kind of revenue streams are you looking at? What would you like to see being set up before you can say bye bye?
So I want 100K monthly recurring, like that.
100K monthly
Yeah.
recurring.
And then after that, anything less than that, I can't take myself out unless there's anything less. But I do have something in the works for like Twitter, like as we speak. That's getting worked on in like the background or whatever. So that's going to be like one. Maybe a few more info products or something like that. Of course, I definitely want like coaching or consultations for funnels or landing pages, whatever, like web design. And then the business itself. I also want to get into property, like rentals or whatever. So more passive than having to show up every day. But yeah, I want to kind of just take the money from the business now, throw it in crypto, stocks, property, and then just let it, all come back to me soon. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. I don't want to be like, 10 years from now and having to like still wake up and be like, yeah, I've got to find this client and then I got to do this sort of thing. So yeah.
Cool, interesting. And so for people who don't have like the same reply skills as you do, what would you advise them so they get on people's radars?
You just gotta, it's gonna sound really cliche, but you just gotta be yourself. Like I know there's so many people on my tweets who reply, without the intent of, making other people known to them, but with more the intent of, oh, I'm going to just reword this tweet for the sake of it, just so I can get followers. But if you look at it that way, if you're just trying to get followers instead of trying to get people to know you, then yeah, you'll get followers, but at what cost, sort of thing. You're just tweeting garbage, and then people, yeah, click like, but actually, if they said your name, they're just gonna be like, who? But yeah, you just got. I would say reply with the intent of, being, reply as if they're your friends, sort of thing, as you would a text or so. Don't reply, like a robotic, platitude slinger or whatever. Just like rephrase and replies and stuff, because nobody likes that. But yeah, if you just reply literally as you text your friends or your family, with your personality, sort of thing, you'll do fine. I see so many robot replies in my comments, and yeah, okay, I'll reply some wherever. But then I've noticed like a pattern. People will put their own sort of spin on things, and then I'm more likely to recognize them more than people who just like, drink water.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, if somebody with 150 followers would, you know, set his mind to growing his account, what would you advise him?
I'd say a few things, right? So you got to show up every single day. Like, it's gonna be a pain. I've had days where I've had 0 followers, 0 likes on any of my tweets, and then I've gone to bed and been like, what's the point in this? But yeah, you got to show up no matter like how poorly everything's performing. You just got to show up, put the work in, and then one day, you'll just have that banger tweet or that banger like DM or whatever, and it'll just pop off and it'll start from there. So show up until something pops off, and then see. I would say don't quit until something happens, like your tweet goes viral or someone, a much followed account DMs you or retweets you, sort of thing. Um, make every effort to make yourself known. So reply to comments. Don't I wouldn't like advise like spamming everyone. To see so many, like I go through my notifications once a day or whatever, and I see like the same person replying to every single tweet I've written for the day in the most like robotic way, and I just like them and move on. I'm never gonna like remember them. So make every effort to make yourself known, but do it in a much like natural way, like replying because you actually want to reply instead of replying for the sake of it.
Yeah,
um, and also make every effort you can to DM people, like especially if they're like in your niche or you want to get to know them or they seem like a cool guy. Just send them a quick DM, like what's up? I'm doing this. I just started. I love your work. Would love to like get on a call or something. Podcast's another great way. I'd love to come on your podcast. That's a great way to like tell your story and let people see who you are. And yeah, I'd say just consistency. Do it every single day. Show up for the work in DM, comment, tweet, go to bed and do it again.
there you go. There you go. Final question, Aaron. What do people need to do, or what do they need to tweet for you to retweet them? What do you enjoy?
I like things that resonate with me. It's gotta be. I'd retweet some sort of things. It's gotta be like sort of like, oh, that is a sick, or that's a sick tweet. I'm retweeting that instantly. If it kind of like resonates with me, then I'll retweet it. Um, but like I think I get a lot of retweets, but I post relatable things. Like sometimes I'll diss like school or whatever, or I'll diss like a job, and I'll say some sort of polarizing thing, but in a way not to trigger people, but in a way to be like, oh, I totally agree with that, so I'm retweeting or whatever. Um, but to get me to retweet, it's got to resonate. It's got to be the truth, sort of thing. I don't like I like people saying the truth, no matter how hard it is to say. But yeah, if you like spit the truth and it's a relatable slash like resonating tweet, I'll retweet it, no problem.
Cool. Cool. Aaron, where can people find you?
So I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, but I barely like ever use it. Twitter at I am Aaron Will, and then Instagram's the same handle.
Cool, man. Thank you very much. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no problem, bro.